Hey friends! My name is Desiree, aka Mama Friendly, and I post videos at least 5 times a week these days. I do hauls, I do vlogs, I do cook with me videos, I do homeschool videos, a little bit of everything really. And today I'm doing something really special. I'm hosting a holiday cookie exchange with some of my favorite YouTube mamas. So I'm going to have a playlist link in the description box of this video, and after you've watched this video, I hope you'll go and check that out so you can see what everybody else made. Just a bunch of friends sharing their favorite holiday cookie recipes. Now, how I came about this recipe is a little interesting. I knew that I wanted to make a cookie that would showcase my culture. I'm Cuban, by the way, in case you're new around here. And I looked and looked and looked, and I just could not find a Cuban cookie recipe. So actually, one of my YouTube mama friends, Wendy, over at One Happy Hectic Mom, she found me a recipe and was like, these look really good. What do you think about these? And when I saw the recipe, it was tortitas de morón, and I completely forgot that those were a thing. And I was like, yes, exactly. That's it. That's what I'm making. So tortitas de morón are basically a shortbread cookie, but they're made with lime and lime zest, and that gives it that little bit of a Caribbean kick that you'd expect. Now here's something that's a little bit of a shocker though. I've never actually eaten tortitas de morón because they look so dry to me, and they're supposed to be. It's shortbread, but I've just never been a fan, so I just kind of admire them from afar. Needless to say, I've never made these before either until today, but I found a recipe that looked easy and that looked like it actually might end up being pretty yummy at the end of the day. I absolutely love lime. So I decided that I'd go ahead and give it a try. Now I couldn't leave well enough alone because I eat gluten-free. Actually, typically I eat dairy-free keto. So I'm gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and low carb. But it's the holidays. What's a little bit of carbs between friends? However, I did go ahead and make these with gluten-free flour. But in the description box, I'm also going to be posting a link to the original recipe, so you can either follow along my way or you can do it as it's originally written out. Your choice. With all that being said, it's time to bake. Let's make some tortitas de morón. So the original recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of unsalted softened butter and a 1/4 cup of coconut oil, but since I'm dairy free, I'm just going to do a 1/2 cup of coconut oil to make up all the fat in the recipe. Next, we need a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And we're just going to cream all of the oil and the sugar together until it's well combined. Obviously, this would have been much faster with a hand mixer or a stand mixer, but I'm sure my ancestors did not have access to either of these things and they were just fine, so a whisk it is. We're going to take 1 egg and we're going to separate the yolk from the white. Save the white for later, but for right now we're just going to take that 1 yolk and mix it into our sugar and our coconut oil. Next, the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of lime juice and 1/2 teaspoon of lime zest. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys though, I didn't measure either of these things. I absolutely love lime. I put lime in everything, and I didn't see how I could go wrong putting in maybe just a bit too much. To complete our dough, we're going to need 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 cup of all-purpose flour, or in my case, I'm using the King Arthur's gluten-free flour. I like this blend for baking because it's a 1-to-1 ratio, so I don't have to do any sorts of conversions when I'm following recipes. I let my dough rest just for a couple minutes while I was picking everything up. I turned it over onto a little cutting board, and all I'm going to do now is just shape it into a log, and I'm going to wrap it up in some saran wrap and stick it in the refrigerator. It says you can do it for just a couple hours, but I'm going to leave mine overnight. This step is super important. No matter what you do, you have to leave it in the fridge for at least a couple hours before slicing and cooking. So it's the next day. I've got my oven preheating to 350 degrees, and I've got a baking sheet that's just lined with some parchment paper. I'm going to try my best to cut this into 12 even slices. The dough's pretty crumbly though. I don't know if it would be this crumbly with regular dough, but at least with the gluten-free stuff I'm using, it was a little hard to manage, as you can see. There were at least a couple times where I had to just kind of warm up the dough and try to reshape it into a cookie-like form. But hey, it's fine. My hands are clean, and we're gonna end up with 12 cookies no matter what at the end of the day. Gotta make it happen. Remember that egg white from yesterday? Well, now we're going to whisk it up and we're going to brush it on to use as an egg wash for our cookies. And this is not only going to help us get a nice golden brown color while they bake, but it's also going to help adhere some sugar to the top, which is tradition. You really don't need the green stuff. Any chunky sugar will do, but I thought green was a cute idea because not only is it a fun, festive Christmas color, but they're lime cookies, and so this is a nice way to show that, I guess. I'm baking these for 18 minutes. The recipe says 15 to 20, so I'm aiming somewhere in the middle, and here they are. Now you want to make sure that these cool down completely so that they firm up and get that signature crunchy texture you're looking for. The cookies were delicious. I am definitely keeping this recipe in my arsenal. As someone that has never had these before, I've fully been missing out. At the very least, this recipe was. And my brother, who actually has had genuine tortitas de Morón before, thought that they were amazing, and he couldn't even tell that they were gluten-free actually, so double win in my book. As I mentioned, I'm going to have the original recipe listed in the description box in case you want to check it out. And of course, I really hope that you'll check out the playlist in my description box as well, so you can see what all of my favorite YouTube mamas made for their holiday cookie exchange. And if you end up making this recipe, I really hope you'll come back and let me know how it worked out for you and how much you loved it. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope you'll please give it a big thumbs up. I'd also love it if you would subscribe and click that notification bell because I post at least 3 times a week and I wouldn't want you to miss a minute. Thanks so much again for watching. Bye!